Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. What a beautiful Thursday morning in the Queen City. Nate Ivy with you, and I'm prepared to do what I do. Good morning, everybody. Let's get into it. If you want to share your thoughts, this number, let me throw the number out. And why don't you go ahead and lock me into your phone, 513-873-7134. This morning, among other things, I want to kick the show off talking about, we're really asking a question. Is it worth it? CPS's new in-person learning plan. If you don't know, they made the decision yesterday to return to 5 days a week. So I did do a late night Nate. I know many of you might have missed that. Maybe some of you were involved with it last night just to get people's initial reaction. I want to talk about this morning a little bit more. I've had a chance to sleep on it, and I want to share my thoughts with you this morning. And if you're down to do so as well, I would love for you to be a part of the conversation. Here's one thing you can do is do me a favor, do the world a favor, and like, and in particular, share today's show so that the world knows that there are people out there with some damn sense, and that would be the choppers. All right. So please, in the time we have before we start, we'll get started in about 2 minutes, like right after the intro, we'll get started. Okay. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Nathan Ivey. It means everything. Thank you for your support. Good morning to you. Good morning, choppers. Hope everybody's doing well. Again, buckle up and let's get started.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, F, G. Hello, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C.
Good morning, everybody. Not what I planned, but the show goes on. You know me. 513-873-7134. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a tremendous Thursday. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I think on today's show we'll put, at least for the first hour or so, maybe we'll keep the some of the chat up on side of the screen there so people can actually see what's going on. Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? How are you? Welcome back. What a beautiful day. Good morning, choppers. Good morning. Great to be with you. Can you see and hear me? Are we good? Because Facebook's been fucking with us lately. It is, oh, excuse my language. They've been effing with us lately. So we shall see. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And you've got me for up until about 9:30 a.m. this morning. And then I've got to make a move, choppers. Lots of things are going on. Also, don't forget midday juice today at 1 p.m. with Ask Ashley. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Is it worth it? That's my question to you. There are no wrong answers. The only wrong answer is that when you share your thoughts and it's not your honest thoughts. It doesn't matter to me how you feel. I'm just concerned, or should I say, I'm just interested in what you think. What do you think? So if you don't know, let me give you the news. Oh, absolutely. So if you don't know, let me give you the news. If you don't know, let me give you the news. The news is that yesterday in a 4-3 decision, you have 4 members of the school board that decided to return Cincinnati Public Schools to in-person learning. And again, my question to you is it worth it? For some parents, they're gonna be like, hallelujah, hallelujah. They're gonna be praise dancing. That's not really praise dancing. I'm doing the robot saying praise dancing. That's not praise dancing. That's the robot, Nathan. But there'll be people who will be very, very happy about that. And there's some people who will be concerned about it. Did you sign the survey? If you didn't sign the survey, my question to you is why? Listen, when the powers that be come to you and ask you your opinion, give it to them. Give it to them. I see Danita writes, it's absolutely worth it. Not everyone did well in remote learning. I don't understand when people say, let me put it on the screen here. I don't understand when people say the school year is almost over, so they might as well call it and not worry about it. Sorry, but learning is important for my son. The end of the school year doesn't mean we slack off. Okay, I get it. So you say it's absolutely worth it. Get it. Not everyone did well in remote learning. Okay, I understand that. I don't understand when people say the school year is almost over. Well, because the school year is almost over. This is the 4th quarter. So that means that 3/4 of the school year is over with, which means that the school year is almost over. So the rationale is that why put people in harm's way, whatever the risk may be, whether people think the risk is small or not, when you've got so little left of the school year. Sorry, but learning is important for my son. I think that's one of the misnomers. Like, learning is important for everybody's child, not just the people that want to return to 5 days a week. That's one of the biggest misconceptions out here. I'll argue that to the end of the world. Everybody wants their children to be in school. Everybody wants their kids to be in school 5 days a week. I think we've been conditioned to believe that that's the best way. Although I think remote learning, if we're smart and we're fair about it, it has revealed that there are some students that can thrive in that. And they thrive because of 2 things. One, they don't have to deal with all of the social issues that you see. This is the part of remote learning that's being glossed over. And if we're smart, and not all of us are, let's be honest. But if we're smart, generally speaking, we'll spend time on this. That, CPS should really research as to what are the factors, because some students are getting straight A's and doing well. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the remote learning option has revealed that there are different ways for people to learn. Like, I think it's disrespectful to the efforts of teachers and the efforts of all of the students that have been working hard to say that learning is not going on. Like, learning's been going on. It's just been doing it in a different way. Secondly, I openly challenge the idea that for every single student, the best way for them to do it is to go into the school building. I openly challenge that. And then also, think about this. Remote learning, that means kids have more time. They don't have to get dressed every single day. They don't have to worry about what they're thinking. They don't have to think about what they're going to wear. I asked my daughter, what's the difference for her? She was like, you know what? I didn't realize it, Dad, but I was spending a whole lot of time thinking about what I'm going to wear. I think people really underplay that. Some of these students might be spending an hour, 2 hours. It's just in their head, taking up space. And so they can't really focus on some of the other things, right? Trying to make sure that they're wearing the right jeans, and you got the whole social thing. So a lot of children who haven't been in school haven't had to deal with that societal pressure. They've gotten more time because they're doing it from their bedrooms or their homes. So you don't have the transportation time. And then you don't have to deal with implicit bias from teachers or administrators. They're not even in that environment. So if you got a teacher that's on some BS, I think that because they're not in person, students haven't had to deal with it because everybody's remote. I'm just saying, these are some of the things that I don't hear talked about enough as it relates to remote learning that I have observed. So I hear what you're saying, but I like to see the statistics. I like to see the grades of the children, because people keep saying, oh, my kids' grades have gone down. Really? That's interesting. I'd like to see the numbers on that. Like, I like to see the numbers of where kids were academically, I guess, in terms of their grades this time last year. The very same children, the very same students. I like to see that number. I mean, I know people can, we get the anecdotal number or information, and then we get these generic numbers from the CPS School Board and things like that. But, what I like to do is to actually look at it. If there's students that are failing right now, I like to see their grades before the pandemic. I like to. Again, I'm not here to challenge anybody's, experience with their own child. I'm just saying I like to see it. I keep hearing about it, but I like to see it. Jared writes, my son is killing it at Walmart since COVID. Straight A's and 1B. I've heard that from a lot of students. I mean, a lot of parents. What I've heard overwhelmingly from parents, and again, I'm not saying in any way this should be some kind of statistical analysis or anything. This is just what I've heard. By far, what I've heard from parents is that their children are doing better academically since they've been in remote learning than they were before. For all the reasons I told you before. Number one, students have more time. They've got more time. They're not thinking about what they're going to wear every single day, which takes up a whole lot of time. For people to get dressed every day, don't you spend a lot of time thinking about, oh, I'm going to wear the pantsuit with the burgundy tie? Or you get up that morning to go to work and you haven't thought about it. Now you got to scramble around and figure out what you're going to wear. That's what makes suits so easy. You just pull the suit off. Then you got to think about what tie. Then you got to think about what shirt. Okay. And then also transportation time. There's no transportation time because they're doing it remotely. And you don't have to deal with the social BS in the schools, the social pressure. And you don't have to deal with implicit bias or downright bias from teachers and administrators. None of that is happening right now. I'm just telling you. That's my what I see. TNT writes, to keep changing these drastic changes without a viable distant learning plan is akin when we are not over COVID. People are taking victory laps in the midst of battle. They are. Brent writes, the Nathan Ivey show should be no scussed zone. That's hilarious. Danita writes, looking at grades before and after won't give you causation. What? What did you just say? That sounds strange. Oh, here it is. Let me put up here. Danita writes, looking at grades before and after won't give you causation. Looking at observational data can only give you association. What in the fuck are you talking about? Huh? What? That doesn't make any sense. Or either I don't understand. Let me put it that way. I don't really understand. I don't understand. As I said, to all the folks that are saying that the grades are slipped, I'd like to see the grades of those same students before COVID. Why? Well, it'll tell us whether COVID has really had an impact on the grades or not. That's the biggest factor, right? Yeah. So if you show me a student and a parent that's saying, oh, my son's grades have slipped so much, and then we look at the grades before COVID and we realize they haven't really slipped so much, it's like, well, why are you exaggerating, mom, dad? And if we look at a student and the grades have dropped dramatically, let's say you had a student that was making all A's and B's. Now this student's making C's and D's. Okay, so why is it? Is it because this student learns better in person? Or is there some other factors? This is far from scientific. I'm just saying it'll give us some something to compare and contrast against, but it is what it is. I'll share what my thoughts were initially last night. I feel the same way, having slept on it. And that is, parents are going to have to make it happen, Captain. Simple as that. I mean, if this what the decision is, despite how you feel about it, the smartest thing you can do is start preparing your children and your family and your household this morning. Start today. Start today. You know, if you can find an N95 mask, studies show that when you double up the masks, it gives you, guess what, more protection. Who would have thought that? I shouldn't have to tell this to smart, intelligent people, but for the few of us out there that's struggling with their own whatever, let me share this with you. The science says that if you wear two masks, one, maybe one of those surgical masks, really, if you can get an N95 mask, that would be better. But, you know, we all know those are scarce. They're hard to find. And then combine that with a cloth mask, boom, that'll give whoever the wearer is, your child or you, more protection. I say double up. I say double up. That's what I say. Start preparing your immune system. Get ready for it. Start preparing mentally. Get ready for it, because it appears that this is going to happen. Period. It is what it is. Now, with Walnut Hills, from what I read, they're going to phase the school in over a few week period by grades. I think the first grades, they start the week of March 31st or something like that after spring break. And then they're going to phase in grades, you know, with the weeks every week after that until all the students are back 5 days a week. Now, you know, outside of Cincinnati, statistically, it looks like the infection rates are going down. Do you feel like you're safe enough? You tell me. 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Jenny writes, good morning. Good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning. What's up, Terrence? How are you? How is everybody? Hope you're doing well. Let me go all the way back to the front here, because let's kind of start in the middle. Tracy was first inside the Chop Shop on Facebook. Let me jump on Spreaker and say hello to Pat. Good morning, Pat. She was first. Brenda writes, happy Thursday. It is a Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday. CG Dub writes, good morning, Choppers. Is your daughter going back, Nate? She doesn't want to go back. She doesn't want to go back. And I'm not inclined to try to force her to do something that she doesn't want to do. So as of now, the answer to your question is no. She will not be returning. She doesn't think it's safe. And these are children. You know, she's 15 years old and got more sense than some of these 50, 40, 60, 30, however year olds that are on the school board. I mean, they might not like it, but it is what it is. Speaking of which, I reached out last night. I haven't double checked. I reached out last night to Carolyn Jones. She was one of the members of the school board that voted in favor of this. I'm going to reach out to all the members of the school board that voted in favor of this. We'll see what happens. I'm sure I'm the last person in the world they want to talk to. But, you know, all they can do is say no or ignore it. You know, none of them have any consequence on what I do every single day. So it don't really make no difference. I keep telling them it is what it is. It's really more an opportunity for you than for me, quite honestly, but I'll let you know what happens. Cruther writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you. How are you? Brandy writes, good morning. Hello, Brandy. Good to see you. Ray writes here. Good conversation last night. Thank you so much. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning, everybody. I was inside the Chop Shop. Good morning to you. The district doesn't like to err on the side of caution. They like to err on the side of money. Oh, that's Gabrielle. Good morning, Gabrielle. You think this is about money, huh? I've heard that. Is this because of the governor? You know, the governor's putting pressure. He's mentioning CPS in his briefings. Ooh, the pressure. Okay, whatever it is. Tracy writes, who voted against it? Okay, I'll tell you here. It was Pam Bowers. Mike Morosky. Pam Bowers, Mike Morosky. And it wasn't Melanie Bates. Melanie Bates voted for it, which, you know, it just further shows her contempt for the whole process. You know what I'm saying? It further shows her contempt for the parents. You know, this to me when Melanie Bates voted for this, when I read that, I wasn't surprised. You know, she don't like, you know, parents at Walnut Hills. She don't have any real respect for the teachers. She could give a fuck less about you, to be honest with you. So her voting for it, I wasn't surprised whatsoever, because she's already told us how she feels about us. I'm a Walnut Hills parent, so she already told me how she feel about me. She don't really care. If you're a teacher, Melanie Bates has already told you she thinks you're making $70,000, $80,000 a year. Shut the you know what up and get back into the classroom. So who's surprised that Melanie Bates voted for this? I mean, you think about that. See, only in Cincinnati can you get over with something like this, right? Here's a woman that shows utter contempt for the people she's supposed to represent, and she's still there. So when I read that, if somebody would have asked me before I read the news articles and knew about what happened, like, who do you think voted which way, I would have told them I thought that Melanie Bates voted to return in person, because she don't care about you. She don't care about the teachers. She don't care about your family members, allegedly, right? She don't care. So who's surprised that Melanie Bates voted for this? I'm not surprised. It doesn't surprise me in the least. It is what it is. Hey, good morning, Brenda. She's in Fairfield. Sean writes, it was a good decision by the board to put their trust in Laura Mitchell and her team. Hey, that's what Sean says. Is that right? We're going to put this on Laura Mitchell, huh? Okay. Sounds good. Glenn writes, morning, Nate, in the Facebook choppers. Dale writes, when does this start? March 31st. Mm-hmm. I want to look at the CPS academic calendar. You know, it's so funny. My daughter and I were just talking about this decision, and I told her that this is probably what the board was going to do when they get ready for it. She was like, I couldn't believe, really? No, they wouldn't do that. I'm like, yeah, they're going to do this. And then, of course, we got the decision. So let me look at this here. So Tuesday, March 30th, school returns from spring break. School will return from spring break on Tuesday, March 30th, if I'm reading this calendar correctly. And it will end on, let me see. I'm trying to think, when is the last day? When is the last day of school for CPS? Anybody know that readily? Is that the end of May, it looks like? Is that the end of May? Dan writes, hey, Nate, I totally agree with you said last night. We need to really start focusing in on the November elections. Yeah. So the flow last night, I'm just keeping it real with you. Listen, I don't have any illusions that because I do a show and because I got a little bit of press about this story, that in any way, shape, or form, that the school board matters give a damn about what I say. I have no illusions about that. Believe me. Quite the fucking contrary. Dan writes, May 27th. I don't have no illusions whatsoever about that. They could care less about what Nate Ivey has to say. And quite honestly, you as an individual, they don't really care what you have to say as an individual. It means nothing to them whatsoever. Okay? I'm speaking generally, so everybody gonna have to get some work this morning. But of course, we know there's differences from the individual board members, including at least one that's willing to stand up and go against the grain when it comes to public health, and I appreciate it. Now others. So I appreciate that. But I'm going to speak generally just because I don't want to spend a lot of time parsing words. I don't want to do all of that. So I'm going to say school board in general, everybody getting to work, but everybody is not the same, and we know that. Okay? They don't give a damn what I think. They don't give a damn. Hey, Katrina, thank you for that. They don't give a damn what you think as an individual. But collectively, oh, that's different. That's real different. If collectively the voices of reason and common sense and decency, right, come together to coalesce, that could be very powerful. So we'll see what Cincinnati does. I'll say it again. My guess is, knowing this city the way that I do, that people will be outraged for a little bit. And depending on what happens, they're going to go right back into the Cincinnati slumber. The Cincinnati slumber, right? All of us are not woke. A lot of Cincinnatians are just sleepwalking through their day. You know what I'm saying? His job, his family, his cheese conies, his Bengals, Graders, and then back to job and family. You know, that they on this perpetual loop, right? Like a hamster on a hamster wheel. So I would be honestly surprised if people keep that energy. See, me, I'm built for this. Once I arrive at a conclusion, it is what it is, unless there's more information, period. I'm not going to forget. Okay. I'll be here playing some of the interviews of our tapes, the ones I think are very interesting. So I'll be here doing what I do. Okay. I'm time tested. But the rest of the city of Cincinnati, oh my gosh. Don't let the Bengals have a good year. Huh? School board? Huh? I'm just saying, I got to come for us too. I got to come for Cincinnatians, because really the board is nothing more than a reflection for us. We voted for them. So as much as we might criticize them, we voted for them. Some of y'all voted for Melanie Bates. Of course, you didn't know now what you knew then. Some of y'all voted for these individuals. In some cases, I tried to warn you. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Ben Lindy, my audience knows I tried to warn you. Nobody want to listen. But it is what it is. If they heard it. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. We need different representation. I would say better. We need to be different, get some different mentalities and different voices. At the same time, listen, you learn and you grow. Maybe this situation will make these board members in the district stronger. I made this point last night. I'll make it again. I try to be a positive person, right? So maybe this will make them better. You buying that? Yes. Yes, I'm buying it. Linda writes, good morning, Nate. Good morning to you, Linda. Danita writes, not everyone has to go back. They gave the option for remote or face-to-face. Yeah, but there's a school board member. His name is Mike Morosky, and I think he put it best. And he is actually on the school board. Real quick, I want to play this for you. Let me go to this real quick, because Mike Morosky was like, look, hey, good morning, Deshauna. Mike Morosky was like, look, we need to stop with the illusion of choice and offer real choice, on his Twitter page. Let me pull this up. And it sounds like he's trying to say something. So we should listen. Sounds like he might be trying to say something. He might be trying to say something. I'm going back through the timeline right now. I'm not sure where he posted this, Mike. Where was this at? I'm going back. Here it is, 12 hours ago. 12 hours ago, Mike Morosky, school board member, posted this, quote, I maintain that 100% virtual for this school year, not blended, is better educationally. Boo, what? What did he say? What did he say? What did he say? This is a school board member. He said, it's 12 hours ago. I'm reading verbatim from his Twitter account. I maintain that 100% virtual for this school year, not blended, is better educationally. And then wait until the fall when we can offer real choice to families and not the specter of choice. Now, this is a school board member. To me, this is one of the most interesting statements that I have read in the last 24 hours from any school board member whatsoever. And it's challenging the paradigm. You know what I'm saying? It's challenging the paradigm. He said the specter of choice, and that's a good way of putting it, Mike. Is CDA a real choice? Is Schoology a real choice where you don't have access to the teacher whatsoever? You just basically going online and going through computer programs. Is that a real choice? I don't think it is, quite honestly. But I know that it's enough of a choice for some people to run with it, but it's not really a real choice. So let me get this straight. So back in the separate and equal days, when black folks had to eat a separate, go through the back door. Now you go into the same building, but you're going through the back door. Or drink from different water fountains. You had choice, right? You know what? Let me strike that from the record. I don't know where I'm going with this. Strike that from the record. I can do that. It's the magic of talk radio. Strike that from the record. I'll make my point another way. I'm not liking where I was going with that. So strike it from the record. But back to what I said about Mike Murawski. And then wait until the fall when we can offer real choice to families and not the specter of choice. I mean, that it's mind blowing. Like, really? Like, that's an option? Like, yeah, that's an option, people. But I know that people don't want to hear it. I know it's all about the fake choice. And, I get it. I understand, but I just feel like that's a really, really, really bold statement that's probably not going to get picked up by local media. Nobody else is going to pick up on this and see the relevancy of that here locally other than yours truly. But to me, as a school board member, for him to make that statement, that is very profound in my opinion, because it's absolutely an option. When I spoke with these school board members, it seems as if their brains could not even fathom the possibility that maybe the kids don't go back to school this year. That couldn't even, this is just my opinion about Ben Lindy. Ben, if you're watching him, I'm wrong. You got the number. You can call in anytime and set the record straight. But my opinion about Ben Lindy is that he is fixated and was fixated on 5 days a week. And he said as much. And he didn't see anything else. That's all he saw. There's no world over here in the mind of some of these school board members. They only see this narrow path point, right? And again, as a voter, if you would have told me that you was going to be narrow-minded, inflexible, incapable of seeing things outside the box, I never fucking would have voted for your ass, period. We got enough narrow-minded people out here than to put them on the school board. We don't need you. We need people that can think outside the box and see the big picture. Thinking inside with a narrow viewpoint, that's routine and ordinary as hell. Anybody can do that. We put you in leadership positions so you can see outside the box. But when I talk with the school board member, this is what I got from them. They was looking down a very, very narrow tunnel. Nothing else existed other than getting back to school in 5 days a week. We must go back. It's like the fucking robots or something. Think outside the box. So I hear what some people are saying, but no, there were options. You can think outside the box. But again, if they got a recommendation from the administration, which they did, and Laura Mitchell and her team put together a plan, and that plan convinces the school board members that it's safer, then that's what happened. It is what it is. Well, I also think it was interesting it was a 4-3 vote for whatever reason, because that's very, very close. I mean, that's just one vote away, right? That's just one vote away. See. Yeah, I mean, just do what you got to do. And still no options for preschoolers. Come back 5 days a week or you aren't worth an education. Who made the choice for teachers not to do virtual themselves and use CDA and other non-teacher options? Was it a logistical or financial issue with CPS not using actual teachers for their students? TNT writes, they screwed up the whole school year. COVID screwed up the school year. COVID screwed up the school year, and then COVID has pulled back the covers. And so now we can see the ashy need truth of some of the so-called leadership that is representing us. It is what it is. That's right. I said ashy knees. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I meant it too. We need people on the school board that will move this district from failing. Yeah, we do. We know that. That's definitely an issue. But right now, we talking about in-person learning. That's what we talking about. The question is, do you think it's fair? I know how you feel about it. I appreciate it. 513-873-7134 for the others too. You're always welcome. And still know, Dan writes, they are representing their own agendas, I believe. Could be. Like I said, I mean, I just got a sense that these are people, except for Melanie Bates. Melanie Bates don't give a damn. She don't give a damn. And so I look at her differently than I do the other school board members. It's the school board members and it's Melanie Bates. But again, I know people keep telling me she got a big following, Nate. Just because you don't like her, it's not a personal thing. Personally, I'm sure she's great. We can go out and have some drinks at the bar. That's hilarious. Get some fish. You know what I'm saying? Talk some ish. My kind of people, kind of. I don't drink, but I'll do my thing. I won't stop the party. I'm sure she's great. As a citizen, as a voter, as a constituent of CPS, hell no. Hell no. And I feel the same way about any other school board members if they got caught saying a similar things with they true. Oh, okay, this is how you really feel? Because it's one thing to be frustrated. It's one thing. See, that's the other thing that local media, in my opinion, didn't really hold her accountable, because this is a news and opinion show. So we talk about the news, but it's opinions that drive this show, right? Outside of that, you got your talk radio. That's probably more opinion. But in terms of more of your legacy media here, they do news. So they don't give you a lot of opinion unless it's the opinion page, right? And then you might get an editorial board thing like this. Here we give you opinions. Here your opinions are valuable. That is the currency of this show, so we can approach things from a different viewpoint. Sierra writes, no, but summer school will be offered to everyone. Okay, so let me look at this again. Let me look at the calendar and see how many days that our kids are going to be in jeopardy. Let me see. So we got 20, 1, 2, and then we got 30, 42 days. Looks like we're talking about 42 days of instruction. Okay. 42 days of instruction. We're talking about the fourth quarter. Is it worth it? 513-873-7134. Is it worth it to it? We're talking about 42 instruction days. If my math is correct, my math might be off. So it might be a little bit less than that. Let's say they come back that first full week of April, that would cut it out. It would be more like 40 days, 39 days of instruction, something like that. So let's say essentially we're talking about a full month if you went every single day of school, 1 month. Is it worth it? 513-873-7134. Obviously, there's a lot of people that would say yes. Gabrielle writes, the last day is the 27th, I believe. So let me double check again. So the last day is the 27th. Okay. So we're looking at about 37, 38, somewhere around there, school days that CPS is going to be 5 days a week. So essentially that's like a month and maybe a week. Okay. Is it worth it? Cole writes, it's not worth it. Tiffany writes, that's some backwards ass ish for Warner Hills to go back for just a month or so. We talking about 1 month, y'all. So what's the difference in a month? Well, I mean, it's all about maximum safety. Like, for instance, let me also do something, because I do some things that other people don't do. We try to look at things logically. So let me look at this. So what's the difference between what the majority of CPS is doing right now and then what's going to happen on March 31st? Because the question isn't, school kids going back to school at all or going back to 5 days a week, the majority of the district is already in school. They're already in school. So we have to look at this logically. The math is not they're gaining 37 days. That's not the right math. We have to subtract the amount of days that they're already getting under the plan. Right? So the majority of the district, everybody but Walnut, is already going to school 2 days a week. So if we're going to get an accurate number, we have to subtract those 2 days per week from the time that's left. And the number that's left over is the net amount of days that they're actually gaining. Follow me here? I know I'm doing something different. It's called logic, right? This city don't do logic too well. Okay? They do gentrification, great. Logic, not so much. So let's do that. Let's look at the math the way it really should be looked at. So what we have to do is, what I say is 37. Let me back up here. Let me make sure I get it accurately. We're going to do this. Let's do it as accurate as possible. Okay, let's do it as accurately as possible. So let's say, for the sake of this test, that the school is going to return on April the 1st. Does anybody know what that exact number is? So I can speak, we can get this number to exactly what it is. But let's just say, for the sake of the conversation here, CPS returns to school 5 days a week on April the 1st. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm going to use April the 1st. Okay. So that means in the month of April, the kids are going to get 5, 10, 15, 20, 22 days of instruction in April. Okay. And if the students are supposed to go to school up until the 27th of May, I'm just going to use that number. So we say 22. So 32, 37, 8, 39, 40, 41 days. So I'm saying it's 41 days. Nat writes, they do gentrification. Great. Oh, yeah, we good at gentrification. I mean, we good at not offering affordable housing options. We're good at that. You know, all that Cincinnati politeness, we are great at that. Lifting children out of poverty, not so well. Not so well. Okay, so I'm talking and I'm losing my train of thought here. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 22 days. 32 days. 36, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 32. 32, 33, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. Let's say that's 41 days. Let's say the kids they'll get 41 days in total of in-person instruction time. So our question here is, how many days are they actually gaining of instruction? Because most of the district is going back 2 days a week anyway. So we have to subtract those 2 days, and then that will give us the number that they're actually gaining, right? So let me take a sip of this green organic tea with some collagen in it, and then we'll get straight to it. Okay, so where are we at now? I might have forgot just that quick. So what are you saying, 40? We said 41 days? Okay, so let's go back and let's subtract 2 days from every week. Okay, so that'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then 12. Whoa, where the fuck am I at? I'm tripping. Hold on. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So somebody do the math. We gotta subtract 16 from 41. 16. So 25 days. So with this decision, Cincinnati Public Schools are going to pick up 25 days of instruction. So that's the real question I should ask you. Is this worth 25 days of instruction? You tell me. 25 days. So that's essentially a little less than a month. That's essentially like it's 4 weeks, right? If my math is right, 4 full weeks. And I want to know how you think. Is it worth 4 full weeks? Because that would be, as I read, and if my math is off and my logic is off, set me straight. But essentially, we're talking about 4 weeks is what they're gaining because Cincinnati Public School is already in school. Now, on the other side, for the parents that decide, you know what, I don't feel comfortable yet. So they go to CDA or they stay in person, which I like the idea of staying at your school. I do like that. And you do Schoology, okay? At least they offer, that's something that's new because they were doing it in some schools. Now it seems like it's going to be across the board. But if your child goes to Schoology, then your child loses. So if right now your kid is virtual and you're COVID sensitive and you decide to say in person or say virtual at your child's school, then for the next 4 weeks, actually your child is losing more than that. Your child is moving lower than that. Because if right now your kid is in virtual, let's say at Walnut. Right now, if your kid's at virtual in Walnut, that means they're in virtual 4 days a week. If you decide because you're COVID sensitive that you want your kid to not go back to school in person, but to stay at Walnut, but stay virtual, then for that time frame, your child loses access to their teacher every day and every week. It is what it is. We are what we are. Yeah, so basically for again, you might even have a situation where you have someone where their kid is not at Walnut, their kid goes to another CPS school. They've been going to school for 2 days a week, but yet they don't feel comfortable with going back 5 days a week. You lose that option. Yeah, this is a democratic society. It means that everybody's not always going to be happy. Brent writes, the university, good morning to you, Cole. The University of North Texas canceled spring break so they didn't have to risk students bringing back COVID-19 to campus. Right. Don't tell the school board members this because they want to believe that they have all the information, but didn't we see a big bump in COVID last year after spring break? I think we did. Because what happens is it's just a nature of human beings. People want to go party. They go out here. They get it. They're coming back. And I know we got a vaccine out here, but the vaccine doesn't mean you can't spread it. It just means that person, right, won't get super bad symptoms. Isn't that how? Tell me if I'm wrong about it, but that's what I'm getting from it. Nikki writes, the last day in May is last day for students. Okay, so let me adjust my numbers here. So if the last day in May is the last day for students, then we got to add some to it. The last day in May is May 31st, which is a Monday. That's their last day. So what do we say the number was 25? That means it's 28. They're going to pick up 20. They're going to pick up 28 days. Now, how many days are there total in the school year? I think it's far more than that, right? So that's the reason why when people say like, well, damn, we're at the end of the school year, is because you only got 28 days left. You got very, very little time left. You've got less time left than the time they've already spent. You know, for the people that fail to comprehend what I'm saying. Marquetta writes, Wednesday is the new return from spring break, the 31st now, so teachers can prepare for students to be 5 days. Okay, let me go back and adjust my numbers again. Wednesday. Okay, the 31st. Okay, so if it's the 31st, we have to add a number, and I think that now we're at 29 days. With the big stimulus package, they should be able to provide the alternative until we are in comfortable levels. Yeah, I agree with you, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, family, before we go any deeper in the show, I want to make sure I spend time with you this morning giving you a word from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by Focus 2021 series. You can download the free ebook right now. There's a link in the description, renewcommunitychurch.org. It's a free ebook. You can also sign up for 30 minutes of coaching from Charlie Winburn. Could be on a matter of business, spirituality, could be something personal you're dealing with, and could be a very interesting way to kick off your 2021. I know we all have goals, things that we want to bring to fruition, and this could be a guide to help you focus on what really matters to you. So check it out this morning and take advantage of this while it's available. Again, you can download the free ebook right now and also sign up for 30 minutes of coaching at renewcommunitychurch.org. Very, very important. Also, I want to remind you, coming up on March 19th will be the public swearing in reception honoring Charlie Winburn. If you don't know, he's the first African-American Hamilton County treasurer. All are welcome. It'll be Friday, March 19th from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. over at Corinthian Baptist Church, which is on Tennessee Avenue, 1920 Tennessee Avenue to be exact. They will offer a complimentary box lunch for you to take with you as you leave on the go for those who are interested in attending. Also, social distancing spacing will be put in place, and masks are required. It is required. Okay. For more information, you can call Zakiya Allen this morning at 513-477-8090. 8098 is her number, 8098. All right. Also, my friends over at Pinnacle Protection Agency have an employment opportunity that could be right for you or someone that you know. If this is something that you're interested in, or you think this is something that someone that you know might be interested in, please check this out. info@pinnacleprotectionagency.com is their email where you can send your resume. They're looking for professional camera, DVR, and alarm installers. Or you can call 513-506-5010. I've got an ad from them I'll play with you a little later in the show as well. So keep your eyes open. All right. Good morning to you. Somebody's saying something happened with Spreaker. Okay, let me see what I can do. All right. Good morning to you. Second to my Spreaker family. Yes. Hold on 1 second. Okay. What is that? That's strange. Very, very strange. Okay, so I just kind of restarted that. So you might have got kicked out on the Spreaker side of things. I'm right back. All right. 513-873-7134 again is the number if you want to share your thoughts. I looked at so Carolyn, check it again. Should be up and running. Everything should be cool. All right. Not sure what that is. All right. Hey Sheila. Hey, good morning to you. Good to see you. Stop calling it a vaccine. It doesn't really qualify as such. Those who took the experimental concoction are part of a clinical trial and are not aware of it. Sierra writes, but the only reason they are in school 6.5 hours is because people have to work. Otherwise, school would be less hours. The unit writes 180 days in the school year. So there's 180 days in the school year. CPS has what, like 40 something left? That's the reason why people say the majority of the school year is over, because it is. Charles writes, the COVID vaccine basically makes you asymptomatic. Tammy writes, no, the 27th. Sheila writes, you're right. Vanessa writes, OSU is seeing doubling of cases, and now they are testing all students and all staff twice a week. Will CPS test and trace everyone in the building twice a week? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I see David Lynch is in the house. Good morning to you, sir. Cole writes, and we ain't seen nothing yet. Danita writes, the school day is 7 The school day is in hours. In person equals a 7-hour day minus 30 minutes a day. Kids are in school 6.5 hours. Are the kids online for 6.5 hours on the days they are remote? If not, you can't compare days. You have to compare hours. No, you can compare days. You can compare days because that's what we're talking about. And let me think about that. I think there's a point that you're making that I definitely acknowledge, because part of the rationale that I keep hearing about this is the social and emotional well-being, right? So I'm thinking about like the lunchroom, right? Like people are looking at the lunchroom experience, I think, from two different positions. On one hand, you got people thinking like, well, damn, that's going to be a super spreader event. And then on the other hand, you got people thinking, well, this is that type of social face-to-face time that our kids have been craving that they really need. And I think both are true. And I think it all goes back to how you view the pandemic. I think that's what it comes down to. Like, if you're someone who thinks like the pandemic, oh, we almost got this licked. We winning. You know, you out here on some Hercules, you know, as it relates to the COVID-19 virus, right? You feel like human beings are getting ahead. So if you're one of those people, sure, you're like, hey, get back to school 5 days a week because you don't think that COVID is a big deal, right? If you're the kind of person that thinks that COVID is still a problem, like when you talk about COVID, if you say, hey, we're in a pandemic, like if you can acknowledge that and you feel that, then you're going to look at that time in the school building at lunch as a negative. You're going to look at that as a super spreader event that you probably don't think is worth it when we've got so little time left in the overall school year. So I acknowledge the point that you're making about the hours, the way some people are looking at it, but it's completely legitimate to look at it in terms of picking up the days because that's what they're doing. Ronald writes, can we ask the teachers if they think the 25 days is worth it? Well, they didn't put it that way. I'm sure on the survey, they didn't say 25 days, right? But when you use a little bit of logic to this, I mean, that's essentially what they're going to be picking up. And if somebody or Danita wants to break down what 25 days is in hours, go right ahead. You know, feel free to do so. But that's essentially what they're going to be picking up. Somewhere around 25, 28 days. Because again, the majority of everyone is back in school except for Walnut Hills anyway. They're already in school. The difference for them is they're going to be picking up 3 more days of in person. Okay. So that means no staggering. I mean, listen, obviously the school board feels as if the numbers are at a place where they're not worried about staggering and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. Something that they're really, you know, all that into. It don't really mean that much to them. So, you know, again, everybody has different opinions, and not every opinion is valid per se, because sometimes people can be on some dumbish. But in this case, there's a lot of different opinions on both sides about this. And, you know, it is what it is. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Someone writes, our kids eating in their classroom. No one eats in the lunchroom. Right. Mm-hmm. So the kids are in the classrooms eating lunch. How's that going to work when they go back? How's that going to work exactly? To work. Our kids eating in the classroom. No one eats in the lunchroom. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I understand. I think I understand. I get it. Good morning to you. How do you feel? 513-873-7134. There are some other things I want to talk about as well. I mean, listen, this is a hot topic here locally. As I've said before, I think it is the most important conversation that we need. And, you know, I'm here for that. This is let me go back to Twitter again to Mike Morosky's Twitter page. I made it clear that I am open to 5 days in person in the fall when we can offer live streaming at all of our schools for students and who desire that. At present, families who want to stay virtual are sacrificing their kids' education for those who want to be back 5 days a week. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, please do so. Okay, cool. Cool. Please do so. So again, this is very again, this is very interesting that you got a school board members that are making these profound decisions. I mean, these profound statements on Twitter. I'm talking about Mike Morosky. So 12 hours ago, Mike Morosky, this is a school board member, tweeted this, quote, at present, families who want to stay virtual are sacrificing their kids' education for those who want to be back 5 days. Think about that. And that's a very interesting way of looking at it. Do you look at it that way? This is a school board member, and I think he's really one of the few school board members that's really even actively out there on social media. The rest of them are sort of like hiding in their turtle shells. They don't want to come out and say anything. Again, let me go jump around to different people's accounts, but to my eye, I don't really see a whole lot of here. Let me see. We go to Carolyn Jones' page. I mean, she's the school board president. Let's see what she tweets. Like I said, she ain't tweeting nothing. Carolyn Jones hasn't been tweeting her thoughts and interacting with the public from her Twitter page. I don't see that at all. I mean, I see, some pictures of her standing next to, some political type pictures. Let me see here. But, everybody can do what they want to do. I'm just like in the age of social media where everybody has these accounts where you can talk directly with the public, then curious as to who's actually using it. Go to Melanie Bates on Facebook page. Let me see her Twitter page. Let me see. Well, she's tweeting a lot of stuff about CPS and opportunities, but nothing from her opinion, nothing I see right here. And I don't see, Melanie, why didn't you retweet, your appearance on the show? That's one of your best media appearances in recent years. Damn, I can't get a retweet? Damn. So damn disrespectful. So who is it? Right? Ryan Messer. The Ryan Messer page. So Ryan Messer's tweeting. Not much. He tweeted something on the 25th, then tweeted again on the 20. Before that, it was back in September. So he's not a big tweeter. He's not a tweeter. Who else on the school board? Ben Lindy. Let me see. Ben Lindy on CPS. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, Mike Morosky's, and I appreciate when public officials sort of use social media, not just to take pictures with other political types to make themselves look better, and not just to make official posts, but to actually interact and put their thoughts out there. And like I said, I mean, to me, this is very interesting that you got at least one school board member that's making these points that you and I have made. And this man is on the actual school board. So it just goes to show that we're not that far off in our thinking and that it's possible. And that it's possible. It's 100%. When my child eventually went back, she did not get a face shield. I had to, hold on, let me put this back up here. When my child eventually went back, she did not get a face shield. I had to buy her one, but for days she ate her lunch without additional protection. She did not have the shields on her desk like everyone else had. My hesitation to return her to school, and they were not prepared to protect her when she arrived. Tiff writes, is there an official CPS board page? I don't think she should do it from her personal page. Keep your job and something separate. I disagree with you, Tiff, because many of them use their personal pages become their official pages unless they have a second one. So my thing about it is, like, if you a school board member and you use your personal page to promote your politics, like your reelection efforts and posting pictures with all your Democrat friends and things like that, then damn it, you can use that same page to interact with the public and let us know how you feel, and then interact and answer questions and things like that. I'm just saying, I mean, you don't have to, obviously. I'm just saying I appreciate that Mike Morosky does that. That's all I'm saying. He telling you exactly how you feel. You ain't got there's no gray area. I don't think I wasn't for this. Y'all gonna do this shit anyway. I'm gonna go with the team and try to make it work. I mean, that's what you would expect. Matter of fact, let me put this up on the screen here so you can see it for yourself and you don't think I'm just making it up. I'm reading verbatim, word for word. I'm reading straight up what's actually here. Hold on, where we at here? Okay, great. There it is. Let me see if I can get a little closer for you. You can see it better. Is that better for you? Yeah. I maintain 100% virtual this school year, not blended, is better educationally. Really? This is a school board member. Why does Mike Morosky look at this differently than all the other school board members? I mean, I could say some pretty provocative shit that's going through my head right now that they really won't appreciate it, and I don't know, I'm starting to draw some conclusions here in my head as to why. I'm trying to figure out, why is Mike Morosky so different than these other motherfuckers? Why does he look at this so differently than everybody else on the school board? And I do know that Mike Morosky, doesn't he work with Cradle Cincinnati? They do great work, by the way. You know what I'm saying? These are people that care about black babies. CPS is majority black babies. I'm seeing connections here. Maybe that's why. It's just who he is. He does this work. He understands what's going on. Maybe. What's the difference? I'm just trying to figure out, why is he coming out of left field compared? How is it you can have a Ben Lindy on the school board who is 100% about 5 days a week and was 4 or 5 days a week, even when he personally was socially distancing, even with his colleagues? And at the same time, you got a Mike Morosky on the school board, both white males, and they looking at this from completely different, it appears, completely different angles. How is that possible? Why? What's the difference between these two school board members? What's the difference between them? I don't get it. I'm not telling you that I know. I don't know. I'm sincerely asking you, as we peel back the layers of this ongoing story. I'm trying to figure out what's the difference. To me, this man is making a lot of sense. Quote, at present, families who want to stay virtual are sacrificing their kids' education for those who want to be back 5 days. And that's exactly what's happening. I'm going to say this again, and people don't like it, and it may not penetrate, but I'm going to try it again. To me, in my humble opinion, the most equitable decision during this pandemic, until we can actually get out ahead of this thing, right? I don't know what a win is when you're dealing with a pandemic, but a win for human beings. The best thing educationally for CPS is to remain virtual. Why? Because everyone has the same access to education that way. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's virtual. You don't have one school that's doing one thing and other schools are doing other things, and some people going to be in CDA and some people going to do this. Everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody got access at the same rate, right? What's more equitable than that? I ain't talking about what your personal preference is. I'm talking about what your availability to your teacher and the educational process is, because isn't that what this is all about? And I maintain that. I still maintain that. When they started going back and then everyone's else going back, and then some schools have this option and some schools don't have this option, and Walnut Hill's there, it starts the conversation about favoritism and elitism and, oh, why is this fair? Right? And I don't think, and I haven't heard anybody say anything that would convince me otherwise. I haven't heard anything from anybody that would convince me otherwise. During the pandemic, COVID-19 is still running rampant, even though the numbers look a whole lot better. End of the school year. The most equitable decision is everybody, you do your hybrid thing, you do your remote learning thing. Is that ideal? It's not ideal for anybody. See, that's what you don't understand. Even the kids, even the parents of the students who are doing well right now want their kids to return 5 days a week, because we have been conditioned to believe that's the best thing for them. Everybody wants that. That's not just what one person wants. Everybody wants that. But there's this little big thing called COVID-19 that's killed 500,000 Americans. This little big thing called COVID-19 that has killed 500,000 Americans. 500,000 Americans have died to COVID-19. Like, that's a fact, right? The number's over 500,000. So that's what it is. So now what happens is you got at least one school board member that's saying that he doesn't believe that there is really an option. And this is a school board member. This ain't me saying it. This ain't just some average Joe off the streets. This is a school board member saying this. And I'd like to know what he knows and what he thinks, and how's that so different from everybody else? Again, I'll say, how do we have a Mike Morosky who maintains that we should remain virtual for the end of the school year on the board? And at the same time, you got a Ben Lindy who, even though he personally is COVID sensitive, is committed to 5 days a week no matter what. How aren't they both getting the same information from the administration? So how are they arriving at these two different? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. Help me make this make sense. Jerica writes, and I can see she's wrong already. I agree with you, Nate. The children should remain virtual. However, everyone doesn't have the same access. You have to take into account children who don't have the same resources at home as other children. No, we don't have to do that, Jerica. And I hear what you're saying, sis, but no. CPS, and I give them CPS props. They've distributed two things. Number one, provided free internet access to all CPS families, and also offered laptops. So that resource question was answered last year, and I think the CPS did a great job at it. So that's not really a factor. Everyone under a remote learning system where everyone was virtual was the most equitable decision. Why is that so hard to admit? It's facts. Because every child had the same access to the education from the safest possible position. So again, nothing can shake that. I understand you can have your own personal opinion, but those are the facts. Period. And there's nothing that I've heard, and no one has said anything that would convince me otherwise. Period. Would that be perfect? No, it's going to cause a lot of hardships. But now we have a system in which they say you have choice, but you don't really have a choice in terms of access to your teacher. Because remember, With that Schoology option, you're losing access. And access to the teacher is the whole reason why you send your kids to the school in the first place. At least it's a very big part of it, right? So they can get access to the teacher. That's why I've always focused on what's real, the tangibles, access to the teacher, right? That's what parents want. Doing a virtual situation, how much access to my teacher am I going to have? That's what you want, right? So no. Dale writes, ask Mike, Nate, I will. Jerica writes, now she get mad. Nate, you have your opinion and have mine. It doesn't make one person wrong or right. You can't make up your own facts. That's what I'm telling you. You can't make up your own facts. You just asked a question that we already answered, Jerica, and it's okay. I ain't got no problem with it, but if your number one reasoning as to why you think it is not the same in terms of the most equitable choices being virtual is because not everybody has the same resources, then I just wanted to inform you, sis, that that's not really an issue. CPS dealt with that last year. All CPS families are getting, if they need it, are getting a wireless internet stream via collaboration between the Cincinnati Public Schools and Cincinnati Bell. Props to them for that. And then every child, every student was issued a like a Surface Pro, like a laptop type of situation. Not really a laptop, you know what I'm saying? So they dealt with that. So that's not really an issue. So like I said, that was the most equitable decision for everybody because everybody's in the same boat. Everybody, all the students were dealing with the same thing. There were no different schools over here and one school's there. Everybody's in the same boat. How is that not the most equitable decision? I can't understand what would be more equitable than that. Other than, of course, the obvious would be that everyone could go back the way they could before COVID. But again, I keep saying there's this little big thing that's killed 500,000 Americans called COVID-19 that I feel like some people keep overlooking. So again, if my logic is off, please tell me. I don't see it. I don't see it. Let me see. Christian writes, just so everyone knows, Walnut teachers know nothing about this pilot program we will be testing. We don't know if it is streaming. Our Wi-Fi is super unreliable too. I mean, this is what I do. So in terms of Wi-Fi and streaming, again, as a parent, I'm willing to, if it takes, they need another levy, let's get a levy going so we have the technology that we need to stream. You know what I'm saying? But there is a price point at which they could update and do all of those kind of things. I talked a little bit about that just off spitballing off the top of the dome last night in terms of what it'll take to start streaming and all of that. I'm sure there's a lot of companies out here that will be more than happy to take care of that for CPS, of course, for the paycheck. And as I sit here right now, I mean, it's completely doable. It's going to take some money, but it's completely doable. I mean, 100%. But we already know that with enough money, you could take care of a lot of these resource issues. Speaking of hard to admit, Walnut Hills and their privilege. Listen, Brian, you can twist that around all you want to. It never amazes me, human communication, but I've been doing it long enough to understand. So again, I'm not bothered at all, but you just want to keep twisting that for your own personal decision. I keep telling you, go run with it, brother. Do what you got to do, but I keep twisting it. Let me see. I don't see any partitions in the Gamble picture. That was March 2nd. So are we to believe they are there now with a month left? I don't know. And unlike the other board members, he has courage. Following district presentations, the other 6 bend over backwards to thank the administration. Pure politics. They are worried about how they will look. Yeah, there's a whole lot of that. I mean, I understand you want to be polite with your colleagues. You know, you want to keep a good relationship. Absolutely. Danita writes, Mike Morosky is smarter at playing the game to get reelected. Ignore the fact that I haven't done anything since I've been on the board to move this district from failing. But I agree with you on remote. Let's keep talking about remote versus seems like somebody's being cynical. Let's keep talking about remote versus in person, because when you think about board members reelection, this will be the focus. I'm picking up a little cynicism there. And now you want to throw dirt on Mike Morosky's name just to make your point, sis? That's wrong. You don't have to throw dirt on that man's name just to make your point. Drop writes, I hear Twitter is boring without the 30 million Americans that left the site with Trump. Jack Dorsey is having regrets for participating in the cancel culture. You're just mad because you got bumped off of Twitter. Are you back now? I'll say it again. You deserve to be bumped off the Twitter. Drop. Good. And to me, Twitter is I've noticed no difference on Twitter. You got millions, you got 100 million users. So again, Twitter will be all right. And I love cancel culture. I love it. You got the right take on Morosky. He is more knowledgeable about public health. He has been focused on the community through his work with Cradle Cincinnati. He is in touch with the people and not just people who look like him and have the same level of wealth, privilege, and power. Hey, good morning to you, Mary. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why is Mike Morosky, how did he develop his opinion and his viewpoint? And why is it in such a stark contrast of the other board members? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand. I do know his work. I know Cradle Cincinnati does great work. I can't say enough about their work. I 100% respect what they do. 100%. 100%. Queens Village, I'm here for it. I'm a supporter for life. I love what they're doing. Because that's about people say all this stuff about black babies and black people, but that's an initiative that's helping black people, whether people know it or not, right there. You know what I'm saying? And I can't say enough about Queens Village. I can't say enough. I mean, what they're doing, changing culture, creating culture, positive culture around black women, with a really, really, really laser sharp focus. I think it's super sharp and on focus. So maybe when you're coming from an organization like that, it just gives you another lens to view things, which I could definitely see that. Sarah writes, I'm rolling with Mike Morosky on this one. A shame on you, Danita. She's going to try to throw dirt on this man's name just to make a point. Shame, shame, shame. It's like that episode of Game of Thrones. Remember that when Cersei, she was paraded through the palace streets. Remember that? Shame. Shame. That was a powerful episode, boy. Game of Thrones was my ish. And then they fucked it all up that last season. They did. How do you take a masterpiece and just kill it? I mean, absolutely kill it. Killed it to the point, family, where I used to go back and check out the Game of Thrones episodes off season just to make sure I was caught up. It was so exciting. I can't even do it no more. Can't even do it. Damn, they messed up that step. What a beautiful series. They messed it all up, man. Ah, man. Mrs. Love being black writes, top of the head math, that's about 162 hours. TNT writes, my child's class already had a fight so much for missed socialization. When they play at recess, they don't social distance and they don't keep on their face masks. I've been at the playgrounds and you got kids out there with no face mask on. And then the teachers are over here talking and they're not going over saying, put your face mask up. I see kids out there sharing jungle gyms and monkey bars. I mean, can't you get COVID from contact? Can't you get COVID from kids like being really, really close to one another? So, I mean, come on, man. We know what it is. We already know. I mean, just use some common sense. Jody writes, absolutely agree with Mike on that. Brian writes, juniors class does the same thing. They bring lunch to the classes. Drop writes, I miss Twitter. I can tell you do, man. I can tell you do. You know, what I would say is a couple things. Okay, hold on one second here. I'm getting something. Let me see here. I was reading something. Sorry about that. They say dead air is a bad thing for radio, talk radio, but this is the internet, so we can do things different. Hey, Amina, good to see you. What's up, Charles? Danita, good to see everybody. Jerica, you know what I'm saying? It's like a family thing. Man, we've been talking. You're in my home right now. You know what I'm saying? So when you broadcast from home, I'm inviting you into my home. We've been doing this for so long. Like I said, I talk more to you than I do some of my family members. And I love it. Y'all know all kind of, you don't know everything, but y'all know, y'all know a whole lot about the last 10 years of my life. I've been on the air talking about it. You know what I'm saying? The ups and downs, you can tell. You can tell when your boy is melancholy. You can tell when I'm angry. Things happen in your family, you share it out there, we talk about it. And it's just funny, man, because sometimes I sit back and I look and I'm like, wow. Like I've known, hey, what's up, Lannis? We've been doing this for a minute online. And then before that, like I said, the last 15 years of my life, I'm on the air. And I'm a very emotional person. That's what makes me a good talk show host. I feel what I say. I'm not just talking. I feel it. It means something to me. You know what I'm saying? When I read about things happening in your life, I feel it. And I love Facebook. We can be connected. So when good things are happening, like graduations or promotions or whatever, boom, I'm there to hit you with that thumbs up and congratulate you. You already know. The big companies here in Natty should be glad to help our schools with all the tax breaks they get. Maurice writes, yeah, but Nate, CPS has long been supporting the denial of equitable education in the underserved families of the district. Look at the lack of access to magnet schools for these families. There can be a lot of truth in that, but I think that's a separate issue. Robert writes, anybody seen Donald Loser Trump? That's funny, man, because we don't even talk about Trump that much. You know, on this show, when Donald Trump was rising, I gave you the straight insights. I told you the man had a chance of winning way before anybody else did. Don't take him lightly. I told you that Donald Trump had a real connection with the people. It wasn't just like some P.T. Barnum going to the circus kind of thing. He was really connecting with people. I told you it's way before it happened, right? And before that, I really wasn't talking about Donald Trump. So now that he's out of office, it's kind of like, I'm much more worried about where them checks at, where's COVID at, and some other issues. So I don't know, man. I haven't really been checking for Donald. I know he spoke at CPAC. I didn't cover it. We didn't talk about it here on the show. Pardon me. We didn't talk about it. I didn't cover it here on the show. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. Ronald writes, Game of Thrones had a fitting ending. What? You couldn't have been a Game of Thrones fan. You could not have been a Game of Thrones fan to say that. Danita writes, wait a minute, because I didn't, that's how she said it too. Wait a minute, because I didn't agree, shame on me. He got you with the head fake. I am trying to educate you. No, shame on you, Danita, for trying to throw dirt on Mike Morosky's name. You throwing dirt on his name with no evidence whatsoever. Just merely your opinion is based upon I don't know what. Just so you can make a point about what's going on with the school board. Shame on you, sis. Shame on you. Christian writes, and I love the idea of going back 5 days a week, 1 to 2 weeks after spring break. For me, I think that there's many factors they used to make this decision. On one level, I to be honestly, I don't. Let me tell you about it. To me, at this point, I stand by what I said. In my opinion, they should have remained virtual for everybody for the rest of the school year. That would have been the most equitable and the most safest option across the board per the scenario that we're in right now. Okay. And second to that would be, again, that would be my first choice. I mean, that to me, that made the most sense. Since considering where we are, where the virus is, just It's a wrap for the entire year. We'll holler at you next year at the safest, if it is in fact safest, at the safest. Like if you're looking at public safety, that would have been the smartest and the safest option. I don't think anybody disagree with it when we're factoring and talking about COVID. We just talking about COVID. Don't talk to me about no social emotional well-being. Don't talk to me about anything else that you think are happening. If we're just talking about the safest from COVID, that would have been the safest. And I think nobody can disagree with that. Does anybody disagree with that? Raise your hand, please. Let me know. I can't believe that anybody would disagree with that statement. I think that's facts. And second to that would be, and again, there really is no second. To me, that's my number one. I'm only going to bring up a second for the sake of conversation. I don't really have a second. But for the sake of conversation, second to that would be, I guess it would be what they're doing now. But again, it's not really a second to me. That's my number one and only choice. I'm just bringing it up as an example for the sake of the conversation. Keep the ball rolling conversationally. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would say. I agree with Mike Morosky. I don't really understand it. I don't think you really gain that much. And I think you potentially lose too much. You know what I'm saying? If one person gets COVID and dies, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You know, human life, I believe in the sanctity of it. And I think it should be supreme over all these other interests. To me, human life is more important than money. Amina writes, we appreciate you. You're very good at what you do. Thank you, Amina. Ask Drop. What's up, Cass? Have y'all checked out the Melanin Insights podcast? If you have not, check it out this morning. There's a link where you can do a Facebook search and go to their Facebook page and follow the links there. And they're up on Spreaker. They're on Spotify. Brand new podcast. These are folks from the Ohio area, not Cincinnati, more Middletown. And they're doing a great job as they kick off their podcast. And we're working toward it being a live stream. So we kicked it off on the audio tip. You can subscribe to it wherever you like to listen to podcasts, whether that's Spreaker or Spotify, whatever. And as they grow their show, some really interesting conversations. It's called Melanin Insights. All right, check that out. Charles writes, Gragson's a great man. I see him in public office one day. Yeah, I can't see him too. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I saw the brother over at the NAACP's forum, and I thought he impressed the crowd. I was looking at him, but I was looking at the crowd, and I could see that he was connecting with them, and I could see that that they can understand. They were like, yeah, I could see this brother doing this thing. So yeah, I agree with that, Charles, 100%. Most definitely. Checks will be out before the end of the same month. Glenn Rice, Drop is the Tim Scott of the Chop Shop. I've noticed Drop hasn't called us recently. And I know the brother's doing his own thing, and I appreciate it. I'm not calling you out, Drop. This is not like, hey, I want you to call in. I'm just saying I've noticed that. So Drop can get in his feelings sometime. Plus, he's busy. I understand when the man is doing his thing, building his own thing. I get it. But hope you're not in your feelings, Drop. But I'm going to keep giving you that work because you're my brother, and I don't want you to be sounding crazy. And if you do sound crazy, you won't be able to say that somebody didn't try to tell you. I'm a big believer in that. Like, I can't make a human being do anything, but I'm going to tell you. And if things go wrong, you ain't going to be able to say that I didn't tell you. I'm a very, very big, I think that's love, quite honestly. Because when people don't give a damn about you, man, they'll watch you fall apart. They'll watch you fall straight apart and won't say a word. Hold on, I'm getting a call from CPS.
Message from Cincinnati Public Schools. To hear the message now, press 1 or stay on the line. To place this call on. Good morning. This is an important message from Cincinnati Public Schools. We are excited to welcome students back to 5 days per week in-person learning beginning after spring break, Wednesday, March 31st. Walnut Hills will also return to 5 days per week in person and will follow a phased-in approach, which will be shared with families as soon as possible. Please check your email for additional details about other learning options and choices.
We already know. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's what it sounds like when the school tells you they're going to be kidding your kids in harm's way. That's what it sounds like. It's like some robotic voice, some robo voice. Personally, I think that should be the voice of Laura Mitchell, quite honestly. That's what I would appreciate. But I know she way busy. She ain't got time to be making no messages. I get it. But that's what I think. That's what it sounds like when you get a call from your school district telling you they're going to put your kids in harm's way. That's what it sounds like. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. It's a robo voice. You're gonna humans getting fired. She said she just got her call. One day humans again. Is that Melanie Bates? You hilarious. That's hilarious. Didi Rice, that's just saying they're returning to 5 days. Robert Rice, TG, Terrence Gragson's a good brother. Yes, he is a good brother. He is a good brother, 100%. You already know. Yeah, I think I could see it. I could see him being an elected official one day, 100%. 100%. I think he's like focused on the state side. Now, don't get me to talking. I'm just telling you what my perception is. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was on his Twitter page or something and saw Terrence Grasson for Ohio. Pardon me. But I mean, I know some people have suggested that he run for city council. I could see it. I could see it. From what I understand about his politics, it jives with my own, so I'm with it. Is remote learning an option? Question mark. Just keep your kid at home. It's that simple. No, remote learning is not really, well, they're already remotely doing remote learning. So are you saying is the CDA, the Cincinnati Digital Academy, and or Schoology a choice? And what I would say is by the pure definition of the word choice, it is. In terms of it being an equitable option compared to being 5 days a week in person with your teacher every day, it is not. It is not. We need young, innovative minds on the school board. I agree with you. The school board needs more color, and I'm talking about POC and Black men in particular. And we need some younger folks. Like, we need some millennials. We need some young, or at least some people that think differently, right? Say, we also need more courage on the board. There's a considerable lack of courage on the school board. I think all of us will agree with that. There is a considerable lack of courage. We've got too much Cincinnati politeness. We've got too much of that and not enough moxie. You know what I'm saying? We need some of that. We need constructive, progressive, out of the box thinking people who also are not afraid to go against the grain. Okay? That's what we need. I don't think anybody, if you look at, I'm not even talking about, because I mean, Danita's making I think a very good point. She's saying, look, let's make sure we don't just talk about this. We also got to talk about the district failing. I hear her on that. CPS has been failing for so long. How many people think that, we need the kind of people that are just going to go along to get along? That we need the kind of people that think inside the box, that have very narrow thinking? That we need the kind of people that are not willing to challenge the status quo? Like, how many people think that I just described the kind of persons that we need on the school board that are actually going to do anything about the failing grades and the failing system? Because I don't. I mean, if CPS is going to be turned around, then that board needs to be shook the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? We need some folks that's not just going to get the board and just be happy to be there, right? We need board members that care less about stepping on the toes of their colleagues and stepping up to the challenges that the school board needs to deal with. I sound like a politician, don't I? It's all off the dome. I do it for free. You know what I'm saying? That's what we really need. That's what we really need. You know, when I watch the school, it's too, and what I've seen from this is too many people worried about stepping on their colleagues' toes, and not enough people talking about and willing to step up to the challenges and just do what needs to be done. You're not gonna be liked. You don't have to be liked to be effective. Everyone's not gonna like you. Your colleagues on the school board don't have to like you. They don't have to like you. You got a job to do, period. Do the job. And quite honestly, from what I've seen, is friction is good. You know, from in my opinion, I mean, it can be destructive, but there's nothing wrong with an argument or a disagreement. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I would say probably, in my experience, those are some of the best, working relationships, in my opinion. Ain't nothing wrong with disagreeing. Ain't nothing wrong with being super heated. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually can be a really good thing. Sometimes it's what you got to do. Am I wrong? Do you detect any lies? So we do. We need young, innovative minds, and we need people in general that can think outside the box and can, and like I told you, is willing to step on some toes and step up. I'm going to go along with this, and I'm just going to go along because I don't really want to challenge it because I'm going to get shouted down. I'm going to get singled out. That's what we need. Is that Melanie Bates? You were wrong for that, man. No, that's not Melanie Bates. El Grio writes, oh, where were they?
They were in my sheets. Do you remember you took my sheets off my bed?
Really? Yeah. In your sheets? Where? They were on the bed?
No, they were in my dirty clothes. I was washing my
Oh, okay. That's you gonna come say hi now? Yeah, come say hi. Let people see you.
I said, do I have to?
Hello. That's my daughter.
How you guys doing?
That's medium. Look at her. Look at her. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Look, go back over there. Look at her. Looks just like her dad, but only better.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. That's my family. Isn't she? She is gorgeous. She is gorgeous. A team of rivals, Nate. Iron sharpening iron. Yeah. Exactly. Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. I've had partnerships. It's not that I look for the conflict. I'm not looking for it, but sometimes it's good. Sometimes you just gotta say what you gotta say and get off your chest. And then if there's a desire to move forward in mutual respect, then boom, it can make things better. That's what I've seen. So, but what I'm seeing from the school board is everybody want to be Cincinnati polite and be friends. And, man, listen, do what needs to be done, period. If people don't like it, it is what it is. Mary writes beauty. Janine writes a beautiful young lady. Yeah, she get it from her mama. That's black love right there. This show is all about black love. On the low tip, I don't talk about it, but I love that. I love when they come in. We just normal black folks that live in the city of Cincinnati. That's it. Nothing special. Trying to make it, trying to raise children. You know what I'm saying? Try to make things happen. Trying to put something in the bank and keep my spirit clean, right? Like every other human, right? That's it. Is CPS providing plexiglass for desks like other schools? I do not know. Lisa writes, medium beautiful. Hi, beautiful. She get it from her mama. She growing up fat. Man, listen. She driving, Derek. What's up, Derek? How you doing, brother? Hey, listen, I want to catch back up with you for sure. I want to make it happen. Be a part of this. Aisha writes, hey, Kendall. Yeah, that's her name. That's her first name, Kendall. But I've been calling her medium Buddha, little Buddha for so long, but that's her first name. Of course, I've told you that many times. El Grio writes, beautiful. Yes, black love. She take after her mama. Nate, I have to send you a pic of my daughter. People say our daughters look similar. They do at first glance. She is beautiful, just like Ed. Thank you so much. Almost deaf for sure. Absolutely. Let's do it. I'll be in contact let me see. I'll hit you over a text and see what's a good time. hell? Just hear some crashing going on outside. Hold on, let me go look. Hold on, family. Hold on 1 second. I know this is a little bit unorthodox, but hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back already. Yeah, I had to make sure my car all right, man. I don't live in the best neighborhood. I don't trust these mofos. I don't know you. So sound like something like a window was shattered. I'm like, oh boy. Because people will do that in the city. People just bust your windows and won't steal anything, just for the hell of it. Oh man, Kim writes, CPS isn't a failing district because of CPS policies. It's because of state requirements that are set up for cities to fail. CPS has innovative policies and plans that we should be proud of. Let's learn the district and how hard. Let's learn the district and how hard teachers work before we talk about how CPS is failing. I hear you on that, Kim. I hear you on that. I stand. Okay, I'm down to be corrected. Absolutely, I'm down for that. I'm not saying that CPS doesn't have success stories, because it certainly does. And I'd like to know more about the whole state requirements, because that conversation has come up before. I've talked to school board members that said they had a problem with the way the state, the state requirements, right? For lack of more specifics. So I'd like to hear more and learn more about that. Is there something really to this? Or is that like a deflecting blame? I mean, that's just my honest thoughts. Not making any assumptions whatsoever at all, Kim. Glenn writes, there's hope for drop after all. Stacey Dash has apologized for what she has said in the past, denounces Donald Trump, and will quit politics. You know what? It's funny you bring that up, brother, because I saw that. And it makes you wonder what Stacey Dash, I had to take Stacey Dash out the fantasy file. Yeah, I had to give it a boot. I had to give it a boot. Like, how could who ever forget Stacey Dash in the All Falls Down video? You know what I'm saying? How could we ever forget that? Kanye West. I mean, she was doing featuring Selena Johnson. You remember that? And it was doing like the slow-mo. Oh, come on. I won't even get into the details, but you know what I'm trying to say. So it was painful, but sis had to go. So you say she denounced Donald Trump, huh? I mean, it's like a little too late. Like, everybody's denounced Donald Trump after what happened back on January the 6th. It's a little bit too late. Stash claims that Fox cast her as an angry black woman. She denounced Trump, distanced herself from the conservative news network after they fired her. I used to see her on that show. I didn't think she made any sense whatsoever. And if you remember, she got suspended by Fox for using profanity in reference to Barack Obama. Remember that? And she's from that movie called Clueless, which is a classic. It's a classic, damn it. Drop right, Stacey Dash, a grifter and a race hustler. Terrence writes, it's too late. We told y'all 5 years ago he was compromised. Right, it's way too late now, Terrence. It's way too late. All right, I want to remind you that there is an opportunity for you this morning. If it's the Focus 2021 series. Sorry about that. I was reading a text to the side. My good friends over at renewcommunitychurch.org. They're doing something new this year. It's called Focus 2021. It's a series. And to kick it off, they're offering a free ebook, a 142-page ebook you can download this morning. And essentially, it is tips to keep you focused. A guide, if you will, on how to use 2021 to set things in motion so you can realize your dreams, your goals, whatever they may be. You can download it free this morning. There's a link in the description at renewcommunitychurch.org. Check it out. I'll say it again, and this is a public announcement that there's going to be a swearing in ceremony and reception honoring Charlie Winburn. He's the first African American Hamilton County treasurer. It's going to be at Corinthian Baptist Church on Friday 19th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. You are invited. There will be a complimentary box lunch that'll be available for all participants, but you have to bring your mask. And please recognize that there'll be social distancing rules that'll be put in place as well, but you are invited. Love to see you there. Also, my friends over at Pinnacle Protection Agency. Now, I'm not sure about you, but do you currently have a surveillance system for maybe your home, your business? Ever thought about getting one? I mean, for me, a surveillance system is about peace of mind. You know, especially if you're a family person or maybe you're protecting some of your money interest. You know, what's stopping you from installing a security system? It'll just give you peace of mind. And with technology these days, man, it can do amazing things. You can put cameras anywhere. And then they've got these apps where you can, get access to your camera, view your camera. Man, they even got tech out there where you can, through your phone, talk to people who might be at your front door. I think there's a whole bunch of different manufacturers out there, but what I would say is peace of mind is invaluable. So the next time you might be thinking about purchasing an alarm system, consider pinnacleprotectionagency.com. They are also currently seeking to hire professional installers. So this could be an opportunity for you or someone that you know who might be seeking maybe a career change, looking to get into something new. And you can give them a call this morning at 513-506-5010. And you can send your resume to info@pinnacleprotectionagency.com. So I was told by the owner, locally owned, Black owned, if that matters to you. I think a lot of folks are really focused on recycling their Black dollars. I respect it. It's definitely necessary. But I was told by them that, you know, for folks who have maybe some experience with doing cable installation, boom, those are the kind of folks they're looking for. There will be some training that will be provided to you. And if you're interested, again, you can send your resume to info@pinnacleprotectionagency.com. And when you do, make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Nathan Ivy Show. It means everything. My daughter came in because I lost a pair of glasses. And really, these were like my daily glasses. I can pretty much do anything in. And I lost them like 2 weeks ago. And she found them in her clothes hamper. Now, what the hell is my glasses doing in her clothes hamper? But I love to be in my daughter's room. I'm not sure of other fathers do. I love being in her room. I love to see the way it's decorated. It smells like her. I love it. And then in these virtual days and times, I mean, you got to take the party wherever the party is. Sometimes she's playing music in there. We're going, she's in a vibe. I'm in a vibe. I'm vibing, Dad. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. See, she corrected me. Yeah, typical teenage life. If Stacey Dash can come back to the community, maybe there's hope for Chris Smitherman. Maybe not. Man, Christopher Smitherman never left the community. King writes, Nate, I want to apply for that Pinnacle job so bad, but you know how some folks love to forgive police officers for killing relatives before giving skin folk 2 chances. Well, Akeem, what I would say, man, is send your resume. Send your resume. You know, again, don't assume the outcome. Just send your resume to info@pinnacleprotectionagency.com. Again, info@pinnacleprotectionagency.com. And see what happens. Okay, don't assume the negative before you even, go for it. y'all, that's a drastic move, Nate. Taking Stacey Dash out of the fantasy file. It is. I told you that was a big move. I felt some kind of way about it, but she had to go. I mean, a man has his standards. Got a certain standard to keep up, right? And we can't have that. We can't have that. Can't be in the fantasy file on no dumb pro Donald Trump ish. You can't. I'm sorry. That's just me personally. Don writes, should have seen a Stacy in Illegal in Blue. Illegal in Blue. Is that a movie? Is that a movie? Danita writes, those ginger sisters out there looking for Nate, LOL. The ginger sisters. That would be Melanie Bates and Bessie Sunderman. That's hilarious. Oh, man. I just sent some tweets to Betsy, so maybe she'll come on the show. I've yet to call her office. I just hit her up directly with a message on Twitter. We follow each other, so she follows me, and I'm like, okay, well, if you following the brother, come on the show. Let's talk about it. Let's have this conversation. Who is the real Bessie Sunderman? Right? Let's get to the bottom of it. But to this point, family, she will not respond. So, like I said, I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying. If Stacy's come back, that's hilarious. Stacy never left the black community. And we need more truth tellers in local, state, and federal positions. Not just truth tellers, Ronald. We need that. But we need people that are not afraid to step on some toes. If that gets you to the end result. Can't be afraid of that. Rachel writes, is CPS providing? I think I read that already. Okay, yeah, I've caught up. A team of rivals. Okay, I'm getting a message from one of the choppers this morning. Didi writes, are there any of the choppers who can make my kids a collapsible 6-foot wearable barrier to wear to school? Inbox me. Hey, this is a new industry. Full body suits, full body plexiglass suits. That's the new thing. That's the new thing. You got all kind. I mean, I've seen people with the big old face masks. I don't know. You know, I've just been masking. I don't own a face mask. I'm not really there with it yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think the next step is we're going to be like that band that recently broke up. You know what I'm talking about? No? Let me see. Hold on one second. Okay, I'll come back to that. I'll make that point in a second. I'll come back to that. You need people on the school board who have a background in education. The board makes decisions about curriculum in the child's education. I'll be honest with you, Danita. That's one of my criteria that I take very, very seriously with the school board. Is I want someone, and I prefer people that have in-class instruction experience, or I just think that if you've had the responsibility of children in a classroom or programmatic standpoint, and you were responsible and you led that and you experienced that, to me, that gives you a unique insight to be a school board member, because you know what it's like to actually be a teacher, to actually be that adult that's responsible for the environment and the well-being, the educational process of a child, because that's at the core of the job of the district in the first place. So having insights into that, I think, is something I'm biased. I'm looking for those kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you were a partner with CPS and you ran a program or something like that, but you were responsible. That's a unique experience that you can't get unless you actually did it. So, El Grillo writes, her teacher told her, and I was listening, all students will return as it stands right now. Oh, yeah, I would expect that. At this point, I don't think the board is going to go back because they've been called out so much about not taking a stance. They've been personally challenged. So now I know how humans are. So now that they've made this decision, this is where they're going to make their stand. Those board members are going to make their stand right here. And again, I'm going to reach out to all of the board members who voted for this to invite them to come on the show to ask them why. Explain this to us. Help us understand this. Help us understand this. Help me understand why you made this decision. And I think that's a very fair question. Grab this. I'm 36. I do need to make a move. Hold on real quick here. I want to. Hold on a second here. So I want to tell you the school board members that voted for it and voted against it, and we need to know why. So it was a 4-3 decision. Carolyn Jones, Ryan Messer, Melanie Bates, and Ben Lindy voted yes. Eve Bolton, Pamela Bowers, and Mike Morosky dissented from what I'm understanding is different reasons. So we need to know from Carolyn Jones. Carolyn Jones, why did you vote for this? We need to know from Ryan Messer. Ryan Messer, why did you vote for this? We need to know from Melanie Bates. Melanie Bates, why did you vote for this? You know why? Because she has a contempt for parents, teachers, anybody that she disagrees with. And Ben Lindy, why, even when your own issues you had, why you vote for this? I think that's a fair question. And I think it's even fair to ask all the board members why they voted. Why didn't you vote for this? What are your concerns? So I'll do my due diligence. We'll see what happens. Jerica writes, is remote learning? I think I read that already. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that. Hey. Let me see here. The money dried up when Donald Trump lost. Is that what happened? She's like, this ain't working no more. That's hilarious. So there's a group called Daft Punk, and they recently broke up. They had a lot of success, and they got a really interesting gimmick because it's 2 members, and they both wear masks, like these futuristic robot masks. And that's the future of mankind, right? If we don't beat COVID or COVID mutates or we're dealing with other viruses, people are going to be wearing designer helmets, whatever it takes, to keep people safe. I guarantee it. No doubt about it. Let me see. Danita writes. Okay, she writes, anytime elementary kids don't get social studies and science after Christmas break to make sure they pass state's tests, that is a problem. Let's not pretend it doesn't happen. Anytime kids go into high school, 7th grade, without basic math concepts, so they say, hey, let's give them double math. Yeah, okay. Sunderman is Debbie from Shameless. Is that right? Debbie? I never watched Shameless. That was a show on Showtime. I know it was very, very popular. I never watched it. Nate, what was the name of the black home building company you talked about? The black home building company. Home building company? Now, are you talking about OT? Are you talking about Mr. Wellburn? You talking about that? Hold on, let me see here. You talking about this? Otis Wellburn? You talking about Otis Wellborn? You talking about him? Yeah, that's his number right there. He's doing some different things. He is actually he's no longer with Keller Williams. So he's doing still, again, you can go to his website still this morning, but he's no longer with Keller Williams. He's with a new outfit. I believe it's called, I can't remember what it's called, but so he's with them now. And, I wouldn't be surprised if you hear from him again real soon. Again, because I like to hear his voice, and his expertise. I mean, there's so many people out there with different expertise. Why can't we, experience it and learn from it here on the show? Okay, so he's got things. He's back in the city now. So quite interesting. So let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Nathan. It's Kev on the cell. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's up, Kev?
It's an exciting day, bruh.
Oh, is it?
I think it's official today that I can get this vaccination, man.
Really?
And yeah, I'm going to get that vac, man. I'm going to get that vac. I've been checking in with all my family and folk that say that they've had it already. You know, everything is everything. Turns out that the pain at the injection site is because it's a huge needle and they pushing it all the way into your muscle. So, you know, I don't know if you've ever pricked your finger, but that hurt for a week. I can't imagine what that needle feel like. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm getting signed up. I'll let you know how things go. But
when do you expect to get the actual shot?
So most people are telling me, like, you know, it's within three or 4 days. It's not, you know, the I guess the long wait lines or whatever is over with. I don't know. I'm hoping that I can either get the one of the two first ones. Really don't really want to get the Johnson & Johnson shot, just to be honest. But if that's the one that's available, I'll be taking that one too. I celebrated my mom's birthday yesterday, man. And, you know, we still had the thanks. But we still had to, you know, socially distance a little bit, man. And I can't wait till the days that stop. And I disagree with you, Nate. I think that the mask thing is, I'm fairly certain that the mask thing is going to end. Like I said before, you know, in 1918, the same thing happened, man. 100 years later, I wasn't wearing no mask until last year when DJ Trump, spinning the wackest hits, dropped the ball and caused us all to be in this debacle that we're in. But I fully expect that, you know, once this is over, we're going to get back to life as usual. And in another 100 years, this same thing's going to happen again because the virus mutates every 100 years. That's basically what it does. I wanted to say this quickly to you. I was in I used to have a insurance license for life, property, and health. And I used to carry an insurance license to sell insurance. And in my class, and this was 18 years ago, 2003, when I got this certification, the person that was instructing the class, the professor of the class, turned and said, "Do you guys know that the flu virus will mutate every 100 years, and everybody is waiting for this for another pandemic such as the Spanish flu?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he was like, "Yeah." He said it mutates, you know, every 100 years, and you know, people are preparing for it. So that's why everybody had this advance notice that, you know, that this virus is out there, and that the potential for this virus to come was to come. I also did a little bit more research, Nate. Turns out, generally, a cure or a solution to most ailments, whatever they are, generally takes between 6 and 12 months. The research period is 3 years, but it's 3 years for the FDA to give approval. This thing is the only thing they fast tracked is that the studies didn't happen as quickly. I mean, as long as they normally would, because the FDA released or reduce that portion of it. But if you think about it, you know, in 1918, it took 3 years to reach herd immunity, right? It took from 1918 to 1921, basically, to reach herd immunity because we didn't have computers. They didn't come up with a solution. They literally naturally selected until the world reached herd immunity. And then they came up with a vaccine for it. We do not have to act like we're still in 1918. That was a long time ago, man. That's before the roaring 20s. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to change anybody else's mind, but no, I'm getting vaxxed. I'm going to say it again. I got vaccinated for measles. I never got the measles. Mumps, didn't get the mumps. Rubella, never got rubella. I didn't get vaccinated for chickenpox, and I sure got chickenpox. So I'm about to get this vaccination, man, and then I'm going to play some basketball out there on the court somewhere with other vaccinated folks.
Okay.
Be blessed, man.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Okay,
take it easy. That's Kev on the cell. I think he's getting vaccinated, y'all. Pat writes, Kev, I got both my shots. Easy peasy. Rachel writes, awesome. Brian writes, I think he's with Rio. I think you're right about that. I didn't want to say. That was what I was going to say, Brian. Yeah, I believe so as well. I didn't want to be wrong and then I'm promoting the wrong people and something. I didn't want to do that. So I think that's right. That's right. TNT writes, do your research. Derek writes, who won the school board members? Who on the school board? Who are the school board members up for election this year? That's a good question. I can't remember. I think it's Melanie Bates. So this is going to come back up, and people have to make a decision as to how much it matters to them. Melanie Bates, Pam Bowers, Mike Morosky, and Ryan Messer. I think those are the four who are up for re-election. I could be wrong about that. Oh, Joe Whittle writes, Fraser Homes, they're black builders. Right, so I wasn't sure. So you might be talking about, and I still have it here, that was Tiffany Daniels. She does a show called Community Connectors. And she had on this woman right here. Attractive sister. Hold on one second. High message. Adrienne Fraser Russ. And she is one of the VPs or the VP over at Fraser Home. So it was kind of, I wasn't sure if you meant the brother that helps you find a home or you meant this podcast, which is up right now. It's a very interesting podcast. You should check it out about wealth building, talking with entrepreneurs. Definitely good stuff. So did you mean that? You tell me. 513-873-7134. The vaccine does not prevent you from getting the virus. Right. That's my understanding as well. It just basically manages the symptoms, makes the symptoms less, so they're not as bad. I think that's what the gist of it is. Again, this morning, folks, there's an opportunity, and it is free. I love the way those four letters come together, FREE. I love it. You can download the Focus 2021 series free ebook this morning and sign up for 30 minutes of coaching. Have you ever had a business coach? I mean, I've heard great things from people. Who was it? I think it was Tiffany Daniels, and she interviewed a sister who basically was like a career and business coach, no matter whatever your field. And you tell her your goals, and then she'll help you and coach you to receive those goals. And I thought, damn, that's a good ass concept. That's a good ass concept right there. I like that idea. I can't remember. I have to ask Tiffany, and you can find her on Facebook as well, but I can't remember the sister's name. Just black excellence, man. That's what CDM is all about. I just want to tap into local black excellence, local creators, creatives. I mean, I'll work with anybody. I'm not against anybody. I'm down for anybody. But again, I just feel like in the Cincinnati area in particular, we need an independent voice that stands up for, in particular, the black community. You know what I'm saying? I think those conversations about the black community will actually impact people across the board here in the city of Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I look at things a little differently. So, and again, you always got to love what you're doing. Lisa writes, that's what I was looking for. Nate Fraser Holmes, your audience is fire. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that was a conversation. I didn't have that conversation. That was with Tiffany Daniels. I thought it was an excellent conversation. As I do, with her podcast in general, I just feel like it's a very timely conversation. That's why I'm so privileged to work with her. I feel like, she brings a lot of value to her audience and to now what we're doing with CDM and beyond, because we should have conversations about wealth building. To me, that's good media. That's good media. Now, I want to talk about, I'm into everything. If there's some people out there, some creators, and perhaps we could come together and create a good podcast around culture or music, or I'm down. Let's have it. You know what I'm saying? But it's got to be something that I think people can get something out of. It don't have to be super serious, because I'm not super serious all the time. That would be too damn boring. Is it worth the risk? CPS in-person plan. That was, the question that we've been kicking around for the better part of the day. We've been focused on that for the entirety of the show, quite honestly. And it's just so many other things that, I like to talk about. Now, coming up tomorrow, I want to make sure that you plug into the Is It Just Me podcast, because Donnie B has been paying attention to, the George Floyd, the man who killed George Floyd, former police officer Derek Chauvin. He's on trial this week for third-degree murder. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Have you been following it? Now, if you haven't, good news. Donnie B has, and she can catch you up to speed tomorrow at 12:30. And if you have, good news. So was Donnie B, so you got someone you can talk to about it. Okay? That'll be tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. And I haven't really talked about it this week. It's just so many things going on. I do know there was some interesting developments that came out about Officer Derek Chauvin's criminal history or his past as a police officer that I thought was jaw dropping. I thought it was jaw dropping. Like, what? And I wasn't really surprised though at the same time. So, but again, plug in tomorrow at 12:30. You'll hear more about it then. Plug in. Lakeisha writes, absolutely. Of course, coming up today, 1 p.m. with Ask Ashley, and she talks about, it's a perfect departure for your midday. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't touch the politics, not really. It's more about, not the news politics. She talks more about the politics of people, right? Just the relationships, the interactions that we have. And I'm looking at what I believe will be her question for today. And I'll start putting it out there, and we'll start promoting it shortly after the show. I mean, man, some of the questions come from all over. I mean, it's questions about all kinds of stuff. It's quite interesting just the way that all comes out. So let me see here. Let me see here. As I'm sitting here talking, I just got what I thought could be a really interesting idea that I'm gonna run past Ashley after the show today. Okay, so where are we at? Do you have a movie that you give a 10 to? A 10? Are you talking about an all time or something that you're looking like a recent? Like in all time, has there ever been any 10s? It's hard to say. My tastes are different now. That's a tough one right there, man. It's just so much shit out here in terms of entertainment and movies. A 10 would have to be really, 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 number one, it would have to be something that would wow me and also be technically and artistically on a really, really high level. Because I can get bored real easily with modern day media. It's just so much of it that you don't have to waste your time with whack stuff. He writes, Gone Girl is my 10. Okay, Gone Girl. Maybe we'll do a show like that one day on just called 10s. Like, what's your number 110 movie? And we can talk about it then. I'll get some more time to think about it. Blessed or Messy writes, good morning. I take a little bit of both. I want to take a little bit of both of that, blessed or messy. Honestly, I like a little bit of messy. Depends on the scenario. And blessed, always. At all times. Brian is sending me a message. Okay, I'll take a look at it, Brian, after the show. 5 Oklahoma City officers charged with manslaughter in the shooting of a 15-year-old boy. Former aide, Facebook is messing with me. Former aide accuses Cuomo of groping beneath her blouse. Oh, now we going too far, Cuomo. Oath Keepers founder wanted to use force and violence in Capitol attack, U.S. alleges. Kyle Rittenhouse returns to court. I'm just giving you a gloss over the news of what's out there. Hold on, so I'm getting Getting a message. See. Just trying to give you some news that you may or may not be able to use before we're all out of here this morning. And I'll be with you back and hopefully better than ever. Can we talk about Winton Woods new prison school? Yeah, we can. I talked about it. What's up, Chastity? I talked about it. Was it yesterday or the day before? We just talked about the image and that some people feel like, Winton Woods. Here it is. I still got the image here. Just from the, I believe, the Inquirer. And people saying it looks like a prison. And I haven't been to the facility. And, my thoughts on it is I see what people are talking about. I see it. And I've seen some images that people put up there as a comparison. The design seems to be very similar to what you've seen in a prison. Now, what does that mean exactly? Do you think that's going to have some kind of subliminal psychological impact on the kids because it's like a prison? To me, I think it was, again, I don't know. So I think if we're serious about this conversation, Chastity, I think it would be interesting to do some research. So do the people that designed Winton Woods, the contractors, the architects that actually drew up the designs and were approved, do they also design prisons? So if they design prisons, what does that mean? Could it be that, there's just similarities in certain buildings when it comes to, certain kind of functionality? I don't know. I didn't know how far people are taking this. And I'm not really sure what the impact is. And then I haven't been out to Winton Woods to know the lay of the land. So that's just one corridor. What does the rest of the building look like? We got a call from Tracy from Cincinnati. She's in Forest Park. She said, look, my kid is there and we pay for it as taxpayers. I don't give a damn what one photograph looks like. It is what it is. It's a beautiful new building. So again, I think it makes for an interesting topic. And again, I know this is the work you do, Chastity, so you may have a whole different and completely valid viewpoint about it, but I just didn't understand I'm not even sure is there a negative impact? So if my kid has never been to prison, my kid has never been to prison, okay? The only time my kid has seen prison is on movies and popular culture. And my kid attends Winton Woods High School. And you got this corridor that appears to have a very, very similar design as what we've seen in some prisons, right? Let's say all of those things are true. What does that really mean exactly? Are the children at Winton Woods on any level, even if it's like an imperceptible, like super sublime, subliminal level, are they on any level being exposed to something that's negative because of the similar design in what we saw in that one image compared to the designs of what we've seen in prisons? That's my question. And I can't say strongly a yes on that. I'm like, part of me feels like, so what? She writes, it's a prison concept. It appears on that image that is very similar design to what I can conjure up in my head. Looks like a prison. Okay, but is this like on some levels were the designers really white supremacists who wanted to subliminally predispose children to a prison scenario with the hopes on some levels that it would have some kind of negative impact or something? I'm logically, as I think this all the way through, I don't understand okay, so is there a plot here that you're alleging? If so, who's perpetrating the plot? And then what's the impact of the plot, if there is a plot? Those are all of my questions as it relates to Winton Woods. Again, this image is from the Inquirer. Right? So as I look at that, when people say it looks like a prison, in my head, that seems similar to what comes up in terms of a prison. Okay. That's one shot of one part of the building. As I understand, it's a brand new sprawling facility, right? So that's just one shot. Does every shot, does the school's internal design across the board resemble a prison? And again, can somebody tell me what the negative impact is, if there is a negative impact? You know what I'm saying? And then again, what is it? TNT writes, school to prison pipeline is a reality, and the conditioning of your place of learning to be a replica of a prison institution is a psychological mind screw. Okay. So TNT says it's a psychological mind screw. All right. So how's that mind screw work exactly, though? So what's the screw, TNT? Like, are kids now gonna be at Winton Woods gonna be predisposed to what may have a similar design to a prison, and that makes them more comfortable in a prison setting? Does that make them subliminally desire to be in a criminal setting, to be in a real prison? I don't know. I don't know if I see it that deeply. I don't know if I see it that deeply. Brian writes, it doesn't have to be a plot. It's tone deaf with everything we know about the school to prison pipeline. Okay. So let me look at this image again. Again, this is just one image. This is just one image from one perspective. And people are saying this looks like a prison. Okay. From this particular shot, yeah. You know, but how does it look and feel when you're actually there? I'm just saying, I mean, for me, again, we all got different standards. For me, I just need more information before I say, you know, I feel like this is a really, Chassie writes, then why use a prison concept? But is it really a prison concept, Chastity? That's my question. Is it really a prison concept? You know what I'm saying? And if it is, I agree with you. Like if we go out to Winton Woods and stand out there in that space and we look around and feel like, yep, this is straight up a prison concept. Okay. The question now is, was this mindful? Who did it and why? So I'm curious, like the folks that designed the building, do they also design prisons? Because if they do, I'm like, they cut the corners. They're going to give you this cookie cutter approach. You know, we're going to build the same building for a prison as we do for a school with some slight variance. But yeah, we're going to keep it simple with the design. That's lazy design. But okay. Chastity writes, do you want me to send you pictures of our prisons? I mean, you can feel free to, sis, but I'm not really sure it's going to answer my question. I'm not sure it's going to give me what I would need. You know, I would like to go out to Winton Woods and walk through the campus, you know what I'm saying, and look at it for myself in not just that particular shot, but also in terms of the overall design of the building and the concept and everything else before I do that. But that's just me. That's just me. Dale writes, that's the new corporate design with streamlined furniture and open spaces with dialogue rooms. You know what I'm saying? Rachel writes, kids will perceive it as a prison now since it's all over social media and adults are saying it's a prison. Yeah, that's going to warp some people's viewpoint. Like for me, what I see is a very narrow shot of just one part of the building. You know, for me, I don't see enough information. I don't have enough sense of what's underneath, the depth. I don't really have enough information. Now, I can understand that people are saying that, and I acknowledge, okay, I see where you're coming from. But for me, I'd have to go into the space, be in the space. I want to look around the building. I want to look at it with my own eyes and not just one narrow camera lens view. I mean, you can move that camera and give you a whole different perspective about what you see. So I get it. I ain't saying anybody's wrong. I'm just saying for me, I ain't there yet. I don't see what the issue is. Ronald writes, the school to prison pipeline is real. The other thing I say about the school to prison pipeline is that the school to prison pipeline has nothing to do with the design of the building. The school to prison pipeline has everything to do with the mentality of those in authority in those buildings. I don't care what the school building design looks like. At the end of the day, it's human beings that will make those decisions. It'll be administrators inside the school building that will decide the severity of punishment. It's human beings that will decide that. So I hear you, but that's just the real on it. It's not the building. It's the people inside the building that will make that decision. It's the people inside the building that make the decision as to when they want to call in the resource officer. It's not the other way around. It's the administrators that dole out and decide what the punishment is going to be. It's the administrators that's going to make the decision as to whether certain actions and behavior rise to the level of when they want to call the police. It ain't got nothing to do with the building. You know what I'm saying? You could have a building with a whole African theme to it. You could have a building that's got the most beautiful black art. You can name it the Muhammad Ali Center for Academics. But what the people inside that building do is what's going to determine as to whether it's fair and equitable. The name and all that, it shit don't mean a damn thing. They don't make no decisions. So I hear you. I will. The school to prison pipeline is real, but it exists long before Winton Woods was built. We need to do better at keeping our people out of prison, but we need to apply this energy towards something more effective. I got you, brother. I'm just using it as a talking point. I ain't saying it's you or nothing. Chastity writes, can you just show the picture I just sent you? Where you sent me a picture? Let me see. Again, it might be a picture that looks just like it. Where'd you send the picture to? Let me see here, Chastity. I don't see it. Did you send me a picture to? If so, I don't see where you sent it to. Is it inside the chat box here? Let me see. I don't know. Where'd you send me a picture to? Just send it back to me and my inbox. Okay. Okay. Let me I'm looking for this picture. Any way you can share it on the stream? That would be even better. I don't know what the picture is, Chastity. I'll look at it later. Glenn writes, seems like some parents are already setting up an excuse for the child to fail before they enter the building. Shaking my head. Danita writes, I thought the open concept was to make it more welcoming and not make the kids seem like locked into a small space. Like I said, I mean, people on some levels are going to see what they want to see, when you look at a picture. When I look at this picture, I see a school building. Do I see similarities to what people have said and what, I can conjure up in my head? Yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, I mean, this doesn't give me enough information to make a decision about the whole building. I mean, come on now. Nobody's going to argue that. You can't make nobody out there who argues that you can make a decision and arrive at a real opinion based upon one photograph. I can't take you seriously. Anybody who thinks that, I can't take you seriously on this conversation. You're not being real, because that don't make any sense. This is one picture. You got a whole new facility out there. I need to see much more of the land. That is, I think, the best way of looking at it. Dale writes, Nate, look up State Farm Interior Campus. Hold on, let me look up State Farm. State Farm Interior Campus. Okay. What am I looking for here? I don't see anything. It looks like a prison, but I also saw some other pictures that look like a mall. So it looks like a mall and a prison. A mall And a prison. I looked up State Farm in interior campus, Daryl. I didn't see a damn thing. Dee writes, the design concept is in most of the architects' current workspace design SHP leading designs. It doesn't appear that they build prisons. Look at Dee. Dee is on point. CHP leading designs. CHP leading designs. Let me look that up. CHP. Oh, that's who did the design? Wonder how much they got paid for it. Let's see. I wonder how much CHP Design, one of Cincinnati's largest architectural firms, an article from a few years ago. So CHP Designs, huh? Okay, dope. Dope. It doesn't appear they do prisons, huh? Okay. Well, that goes out the window. Yeah, but who is the subleaser on the contract? Oh, so you got to find a subleaser. Okay. I don't know. Can anybody find the subleaser? Brian writes, how was it supposed to be built? I mean, again, I hear you. I can completely understand what people are looking at and what they're saying. I'm not trying to invalidate it. I'm just saying I'm not there yet with the image. I don't really see it like that. And to be fair, I have to go out and see it with my own eyes and not just a narrow camera perspective. I've seen some other images in the same article. It just seemed like a school, you know. If I was designing the building, I think I would go for a more creative kind of look, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Good morning to you. Where we at here? That's one conspiracy theory we don't have to worry about. Hey, listen, folks, thank you for being here. I've got to make a move this morning. Got to make a move. Check out Midday Juice today at 1 p.m. All right. Got to make a fast. I'm going to jet out of here. Listen, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you on the real and your support every single day, sharing the show. It means everything. And we continue our mission to amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. And if you'd like to join the team and perhaps you've got a podcast idea or a live stream idea, I would love to work with you. All right. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. I'll catch up with you real soon. I'm Nathan Ivy, and I'm out.